journey, policies and so forth. Now, I want you to unpack a bit on how issues of refugee women, when you talk about EBV, economic...
We do cry. Why? We are all vulnerable. But it's what we are learning in the society. So parents, we have to be careful what we do at home in front of our children. So if in my house, my husband has been beating me in front of my 3 years old, this child is growing, seeing daddy beating mommy. So when my child will go for holiday to uncle, see uncle is doing the same. The neighbor is doing the same. So this child in this society, he will grow up thinking this is normal. So it becomes a norm. So him too, when he will get married, he's going to do that. For us to break that, let's educate from the young, very young age. We give those education on gender-based violence, on gender roles, on all those issues. So when we educate them, people, they will come and realize. So it's the work that I'm doing in different those countries you were mentioning. Then you'll see a person after, because we do it for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, the person says, you know what? I've been beating my wife when I come from, because people, they think when a woman is at home, because the work you are doing in the house, because it's not remunerated, you don't bring money, so you are doing nothing. So you have been here at home the whole day, doing nothing. Yet you are looking after children, you are cleaning the house, you what. So there's an exercise that you do where people, they will realize that, oh, so I've been shouting at my wife, I've been shouting at my partner, then and beating her. Oh, really? I will try my best and start. So if we manage to change the mindset, and especially the religious leaders, we need to tackle the religious leaders. Then you go and open the case. Don't you see that sometimes we are abusing the system? Yes. Because of the culture. Or also, what he was saying, women are depending on men. This is the person who's working. Now, if you go report him, they are going to arrest him. So if they arrest him, who's going to bring money for bread, for food at home? You are just at home. You think of those ones.
So how do we then tackle those challenges? One, the language barrier. One, the dependence on the economic provider who is a man. What do we do?
Okay, the solution on that, and in some contexts, it has been working for few people, at least even if it's few. He does not love you. He has another woman somewhere. So, this culture are the one who are destroying some of. Come now to reporting to the police. When I was assisting with the victim support group and being a member of the CPF, the language barrier is a big issue. Back home, most of women, they were not sent to school because of this culture thing. I almost became a victim of that. We finished high school with my brothers. Now to go to university, my father couldn't really afford. Now priority is the brothers. Priority is the brothers. So what I did, at university, yeah, the fees were double. So what I did, I said, no, I need to look for that country called my country, the Burundi. UNHCR said they can't repatriate me because I never been there. And it was still fragile. But I went by my own. University there, it was free. Then I studied. How when you were presenting me, I worked for UN that side when I finished my university. If I was not that child who wanted to discover, I could sit back and not. So, saying that, many girls, they did not have that opportunity to further the studies. And English. We learn English when we are in high school, it's At university, it's where and it depends the faculty that you are going to choose. So English, it's becoming a challenge, because when you are coming here to get married, remember, responsibility of the home. And some men, they don't want the women maybe to go out, to go learn. If she learn, she's going to know a lot, and then. Stay in. You'll be cooking. So it will be Lingala from morning until night for Swahili or what. Now English, what are you going to tell the police when this issue is happening? What are you going to tell, at least Umoja, you have, they speak so many languages. Feel free, then you can explain. Then if needs are there, they can escort you now to the police. But remember, we are still held by your culture. Am I gonna tell my story that side? So the time maybe you have that courageous, if the neighbors, sometimes it's the neighbors, when they take you to the police station, what are you going to say? And again, the police, we have this, I don't like to use the word xenophobia. I think xenophobia is fear of foreigner. When you fear someone, can you go and beat that person? Can you start insulting that person? You'll be running away, hiding yourself. So you must find another way. So you have police as human beings, not only police, even the clinic, where people, they have perception, they have their own, even at Home Affairs. I worked at Home Affairs, I could see what was happening. So the language barrier, it's a big issue. Besides that, if you go and report that I was raped, sometimes the police, they don't have those knowledge. They will start asking you, where were you? What were you doing at that place? Oh, my sister, go and fix your stuff. The other challenge that makes it difficult for the cases to go on, as in the refugee community. Today you are going to open a case. Maybe Umoja or, sorry Umoja.
I think it's good afternoon now. I just wanted to firstly say that what the Commission does, it's a Chapter 9 institution, which means it's created in terms of our Constitution, and my Commission specifically deals with gender equality. So even though you might think that gender equality is only possibly about women, it's not. It's about men, women, as well as the LGBTIQ plus community. And I think it's very important that we don't exclude them. And so it is to be able to ensure there's protection as well as development and attainment. And the Commission also has the power.
Refugee women-led organizations to see how these issues can be, taken into Parliament, can be addressed by the government. Let's shift gear a bit and get into the economic aspect of things. So we know that if you're not economically empowered, if you're not able to get a job, if you're not able to start a business, integration is going to be really difficult. Not just integration, but your livelihood overall. And so how do we get to be empowered, or how can refugee women get empowered economically, and men, by the way? We have had most of discussion when we talk about economic aspect on how to start business, how to make it grow, and so forth. But today, we felt the need to have a conversation around how refugees can partner with South Africans in order to grow economically. And so, Luando, one of the aspects that I want you to unpack is how do we get to collaborate? Particularly, when we look at the issues of xenophobia, I've worked quite a lot on xenophobia projects, specifically focusing on xenophobia within the online space. And one of the narratives that come across is how foreigners are in South Africa to take their jobs. We see so much content in terms of videos of foreigners sell expired goods. And so from at least the data that I've worked on, it almost seems like it's impossible for foreigners to partner with South Africa. But I think it's an aspect that we need to address and see how we can actually build a good relationship in terms of having unity, promoting unity when it comes to economic ecosystem. So unpack that for us. What are certain steps that we can do in order for foreigners or refugees and South Africans to unite and promote unity when it comes to economic ecosystem? Thank you.
Thank you. First and foremost, we are human beings before we are Africans. The African is not even our name. We did not name ourselves African. And when we say foreigners, we must also understand what do we mean when we say foreigners. Because there are foreigners who came here in 1652. They are employers. So first and foremost, I think what Flip the Coin is trying to do is to first advocate for awareness. And you cannot be aware of anything else if you are not aware of who you are. When we say flip the coin, we mean shift the paradigm. Know more who you are before you can know anything else. So, we registered Flip the Coin as a company in 2019. But we don't consider Flip the Coin to be a company. We are a movement that advocates for first spirituality, because without spirituality, there can be no unity. There's our banner, the first one. On top is spirituality. And spirituality to us is not a religion. Spirituality is spiritual awareness, is us operating on our spiritual side of this thing that we call self. Because to know self is to know both the sides of what we call self. Self is first and foremost spiritual before it's physical. Do we know the spiritual side of self? Anybody who can help us? Can I also direct my questions to the floor?
We want you to finish with the panelists and they can comment.
Okay. That's the first question. Spiritual side of what we call self. Which side is the higher side? Which side is the lower side? From which side do we connect to the source? God. From which side do we co-create as co-creators? Are we co-creating from the spiritual or from the physical? So if we are unable to answer these questions, then we don't know who we are yet. And we don't know our relationship to what we call God, which is the source of everything, including us, which is all in all, which is everywhere at the same time, which is the power that we are supposed to draw from, so that we can create the life that we want to create. Flip the Coin believes that when we move from the physical side of self and start knowing more the spiritual side, we will start creating what is needed for us to live the life that we want to live. The world is owned by people who own value. And people can never own value without creating it. Are we creating value as Africans? Do we own the continent? Do we own the economy of the continent? If we don't own the economy of the continent, why? Answering these questions will get us to move to the right direction. Because we need to answer our questions ourselves. We cannot wait for other people to answer our questions anymore. I think we need to go back to the source so that we can start looking at each other and start to define each other the same way we define ourselves. So Flip the Coin is advocating for unity. We are situated in the township of Philippi, which is also central to the townships of this place we call Cape Town. Kailicha has got 2.4 million people. As Africans in Cape Town, I think we collectively we are more than the people in Namibia. We have 6 million, almost 6 million sheikhs, people who live in structures that are not meant for people, that I personally declare homelessness. These Africans who live in shacks are not the refugees. They are ID card carrying South Africans. They exist at the bottom of the food chain. These rains that you saw this week, most of them are busy now using their buckets to take the water outside of their structures that they call homes. They live in those structures with kids. It is their country, the ID card says so. But because they don't own their economy, they are in that situation. 28 million of them, of us, are grant recipients. 28 million if you add the 11 million that emerged from COVID. Grant recipients, which is more than half of the population of Africans in South Africa. These are the people that are expected to embrace people from outside. They've been looking for something to blame all their lives. Now they found it. Because they don't know who they realized where the source of their issues is. Now they see people who look like them and they know your country. Don't own the means of production. 90% of the economy is still owned by the minority. The majority owns 4% of the land. The minority owns.
Let women speak for themselves. This is the time that women must stand up. Leaders who are in this room, I know all of us, most of them here, we are all leaders. As I said, starting from your house, what are you doing for you to be recognized? What are you doing for people to know that you are a leader? You're not just a leader around you, although you're doing it in your house, although you're doing it in your community. Let people know about you. Leadership is about collaboration. Leadership is about connection. Leadership, if you want to grow, you need to be connected. You need to collaborate. You need to understand. We don't have to fight. This is the thing that diminish us women leaders. Because we compete instead of collaborating. Let's stop competing. Let's come together. That's the reason why we came up with Aronet, with the African refugee women. It was a crazy idea when we started. We were thinking of continental. I always speak to, when I spoke, get a chance to talk to my chairperson and say, no, this is like taking a child from a primary school and putting her at the university. We did not even know what to start. But today, as I'm telling you, 17 countries are members of Aronet who understand that let's collaborate, let's partner. And it's not only about, they're not just members of Aronet. We are known in the world. We are known in all the spaces, international spaces, in just 1 year. Because of what? Collaboration. Women, refugee women are always, often being excluded in conversation and decision making. What's her name again? She just left our commission. That's because we don't even read. We don't even know what is our right. She just mentioned it. We can submit. You can do your submission. It's always say that African, if you put money, if you want to save money, put it in a book. So they will never going to open that book. They don't read. Let's learn to read, to know, to understand, ask questions. We
organize presentations, workshops, we've got events. Vivian, who invited us here, has been to one of those, but she has been to one that was organized by the Business Hub, which has been because we have a lot of collaborations with other organizations. So we also want to invite everyone to come to our events. Let us engage. Let us also participate in bringing forth these solutions that we are looking for.
I love that. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. We have served they say the good for the last. Mama Lilian Mukiti, she's the Secretary General for the African Refugee Women-led Network, and I thought Mama Lilian would be best to talk about leadership. We wanted today not to be so much of just celebration, of the World Refugee Day, but we really wanted to have an impactful event where we showcase the leadership of refugee women. So I want you to unpack a bit on why is it important that we speak of leadership of refugee women? Why is it important that refugee women leaders are included in important spaces where policies are made? If you can unpack that for us, we keep talking about the shift of the narrative, of refugee women just being the beggars and so forth. So it's going to be interesting to hear your perspective on this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm so happy because this room is full of leaders. Let's talk about leadership. I'll start by saying that refugee women are not just survivors of crisis. They are leaders, advocates, and agents of change. So sometimes people think that when they call you refugee, is that your qualification? No. We have doctors, we have engineers, we have all kinds of qualification. That's what defines you. It's not only being doctors or what, you are a mother, you are a woman. And as my colleague was saying, by being in charge in your house, you're already a leader. We become leaders not by education, we become leaders by your passion. you are a leader. Globally, over half of refugees, displaced people, half of that are women and girls.
My country, where I left very young, how will I answer that? Because I came here with my mom very young, and all that, got my document with my mom together. So how am I going to handle those situations?
Thank you very much. I'll give it to Dr. Kavuro. That question on legal documentation in Rwanda, half a minute. Thank you. Oh,
Okay, thank you for the question. I think first and foremost, it has to come from all of us that we really need freedom. You know, because if it doesn't come, if it's not a burning desire for all of us to be free, economically free, it's not going to happen. There was one of the panelists that said we invite people, they don't come. We are always on social media saying come to our workshops so that we can break down how do we build value in all sectors of this economy. All of these economies have got one thing in common. They have their primary sectors, secondary and tertiary sectors that are driving the economy. You know, ours is participation. We need to get more people to participate in the economy, especially those who are previously excluded, right? But for us to participate, we have to move away from asking to participate, you know, because that's what we normally do. We want to ask to participate instead of participating. The first thing we need to do, we need to collaborate our energies, our ideas, and three, our rand and our dollar. Because we have all these currencies. We have Africans in the continent, Africans in the diaspora. Now we need to amplify our conversation. You know, come together, have an aligned conversation as to what is it that we want to achieve, what is our vision.
Now it's going to be used against and you may end up when you lose your status because you were not advised on what to write down. So it is in this context, perhaps I may call this organization to say that they need to have a workshop so that we can be able to engage with this matter at length and in deep, so that you can be able to understand that every time you go to Home Affairs, what you need to put down in writing when you are motivating your case, or if you need a legal advice, where you can find that legal advice in order to support your own case. Otherwise, if you want to rush that issue of segregation,
Issue of refugees are not they are not united, especially when it comes to money. Please, they want to support networks, not individuals. If you want to be part of the global, you can start forming a network as a group. Yeah? You don't just say be a network and connect to a network which also recognize. And most of the women I encounter, you have good initiative, but you're not registered. How do you want to get funded? How do you want to be supported? Start by getting registered, having a bank account, having your board member in place, have everything in place. And that's where you can start, donors can start to recognize you. There are people here in this room that have helped with registration, and I'm willing to help more if you need to be registered and be recognized. By me saying this, I'll say that I want to finish work. Let's be united, form network. This is our time. Everyone wants to support women, and it's for us to be organized and let's trust each other so that the funders can trust us and do the work in our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ellen. Really appreciate that. One thing for sure, change is near, change is inevitable. One thing which is guaranteed in life is change. And with all these nuggets, the ideas, the solutions, our experts provide us with, obviously we're going to initiate change. Let's go and put all those ideas into action. You know, it's all in your hands. That's all I can say. So I'm just going to ask Mama Lilian to hand over the gift to the panelists. As she's taking the gift, let's just give a major round of applause to I told you that it's going to be a great day, and I think we enjoyed it. And it was quite informative. We're going home different. Definitely, yes. So let's see what Mama Lilian had for panelists. I love gifts.
We don't have much to give, but we just have a card to remember this day. Where's my girl? You ran away. Can you just give one? And I'm going to call also the team behind this event. Mama Tolu, join us. Our MC, Olivia. Thank you so much, Dr. Kevulos. Thank you so much, Mama Michelle. Thank you so much, Brother Luando. Thank you so much, Mama Tobo, Genius. And this is the first partnership we made, and we're very proud that we made it, and it's so successful. Our coordinator and moderator, thank you so much for that work. Our MC.
We have for ourselves, we will continue to wallow in poverty. And the poverty in the African communities is mainly triggered by the self-hatred that we have for ourselves. So that is why to Simami Wanawake, it doesn't matter where you're from, as long as you're an African woman, you are going to be helped. Our offices are open, like I said, on the 4th floor, 6 Spring Street. You can come there anytime. You will find somebody at the desk who can listen to you. We don't have money to give. We don't have food to give. But we can tell you how to access the help that you need through collaboration. So it's time for refugee women to be at the forefront of advocating for the rights of refugee women. Why? We have agency. We have a voice. It's time to use that voice. It's time to stand up, women, to Simami Wanawake. God bless you.
We do have a slogan as maybe that will lead us. Our slogan is together we rise, together we act, together we change the world. Can we repeat that? Together we rise, together we act, together we change the world. Let's say it in one voice as women, powerful women. Just let's stand up, and just say it now because we are going to change the world. Stand up. So together we rise, together we act. Let's say it in one voice.
Together we rise, together we act, together we change the world.
So much. Don't live without eating. Next door, the lunch is served. Oh, good picture.
before we leave.
Esili, Cosa buona la scena, la mamma vai. Tu muna vai. Te tam solo na YouTube. Na check na YouTube.
No, na YouTube na.
Easy. Eso.
Utake ni university.
Umuna ke bula kete. Yo ngona nga grand sera ya uteko ngona na. Oh, mami rai na university. Oyamba bijouté a déclaré. Bijou pas déclaré, m'a déclaré à 4. Elle m'a dit pas moins de 20 minutes.
Le lot bonjour, il y a une organisation, il y a pas maman, il y a un jour, il y a pas réfugiés africains. De être Tana, tout partager, l'unité et la force.
Vous êtes bien? Vous êtes bien? Vous êtes bien, madame.
We have the success of this event, and we're very happy that you've made it and you've joined us. And I don't know, Mama has the word for that word.
That should be the one for you. Yeah, just want to hear the last verse from you.
Actually, can you hear me? Actually, my name is Tolu George, and I'm the national coordinator of Tusimami Wanawake, which means Stand Up Women in Swahili. And it is an initiative of Africa Unite, an NGO here in Cape Town. And we have chapters in KwaZulu-Natal, in Gauteng, and also in Cape Town. And our offices are in 6 Pin Street. On behalf of Tusimami Wanawake and the African Refugee Women-led Network, we would like to thank all our distinguished panelists who have given us a very robust discussion today about the plight of and the realities of the experience of the migrant and refugee women in South Africa. And they have given us a very knowledgeable insight into how we can together advocate for change, real change. I'd also like to thank the staff and the interns of Africa Unite who are here in full force. You see all the young ladies going around taking videos and taking pictures, and also the RNet team. I'd like to thank all the heads and directors of all the various organizations that are here in the room who braved this Cape Town weather to show up today. And we didn't even know that the room was going to be this full, but here we are with a very full and successful event. Just to give a little brief introduction, I don't want to take much of your time because it's time for lunch. We have worked tirelessly since we started in 2022 as Tusimami Wanawake, and it's very interesting because our founding coordinator was actually Mama Lillian, and she handed
Oh, continue. Namuna won't say it down. Okay.
Yeah.
Chili.
The spoon is too for the
Chili. Is it chili?
The spoon is
No, I want it. Nalimil pilipili. Is that pilipili? Nice. Is that it? Pilipili, is that toyo? This is that pilipili.
It's like barbecue.
Yes. It was a sukali. Yalinga mene juice te. Tenga pete ngala mene ngamai. Otiki su juice angoche. Ji na bachelo na visite pona ebi yoko kanwa ngote. Apple. Bijo linga chela onga na boya. Seke zanga pina zora apple. Oh, this one is not called, ne? Let me put it. Bijucha oza mali oanja si mali.
Bisombule betaka un mois mobimba pe. Sito mesana
Abe ngango winta te yo na ya te. Posa nini? Napia mabele.